Yo, what's going on, guys? Voice is a little bit better, so I figured let's go do a backyard patio video once again. I know you guys like these breaks from the office, so we'll talk outside here. It's a nice day. Anyway, we're gonna have a bit of a Zebec. I often call it Zebec, but apparently somebody was offended by me calling it Zebec and not Zebec. So I'll say Zebec so that no one's offended, right? Um, Anyway, um, we're gonna get into a price prediction for Zebec, but let's talk about Bitcoin first. So we broke out of the bull pennant that we covered yesterday on the channel, between 93.4 and 95K. We had been building that bull pennant for about a week, give or take 6 days. I think 6 days. Anyway, broke to the upside as projected, but right into our golden pocket between 97 and 98K, where we did anticipate the next level of resistance. We've since kind of retraced back down to about 96.6 or something like that, 96,600. So we might have to make a couple of runs at 97, 98K before we can break through it. It's very, very similar to 100K. That's going to be a very psychological level. It's going to be a strong level as well. But once we break through there, guys, my target for this breakout of the bull pennant, trying to hold a cough in, still sick, is 102 to 104K. I think we'll get up there in rather short order, maybe a week, week and a half tops. I think we'll be up in that range. Altcoins will continue to melt their way upwards as well. A lot of altcoins. People have been asking me to do TA on altcoins and stuff like that on the live streams, and over on the Patreon as well. I've been getting a lot of requests for, you know, for technical analysis on a bunch of altcoins. And I got to be honest with you, pretty much I can't think off the top of my head of a single altcoin that looks bearish on the charts right now. I can't think of any that I've looked at. I'm sure there's some, but I haven't seen any of them. I haven't gotten any requests for any that look bearish at this point. So everything looks, we got bull flags and bull pennants, cup and handle patterns popping off all over the place, getting ready for another leg up. So altcoins will continue to follow Bitcoin's lead here as they melt their way upwards as Bitcoin moves, right? Um, so yeah, so that's kind of what I see happening with Bitcoin. Could take a few days, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Moving over to Zebec, guys. Now, the the price action and the metrics for Zebec are eerily similar to Onyx Coin XCN's charts, price action, and narrative. Um, Last year, like near the end of last year, beginning of this year, December, January, when we saw XCN go on about a 500% run. Now, if you were over on the Patreon, we were accumulating Onyx Coin for over a year, since March of 2024. And it just felt like forever. And by the time we got near the point where Onyx Coin broke out from that 2011 level, um, there was a lot of negativity in the market. And when it came to Onyx Coin, a lot of people were getting ready to give up on it. People were asking me on the Patreon, should I just sell my Onyx Coin and, move that into something else that's probably going to pump? Like, it was crazy like that, right? And I was like, no, man, this thing's going to explode, right? Sure enough, right? It broke out. It worked its way up really quickly into a bull pennant, and then it broke out of that bull pennant around 203. It broke out of that, and it broke all the way up to about 1.5 cents, right? And then it consolidated for 6 days, and then it broke out of that. Excuse me, guys. It broke out of that 1.5 cent range after 6 days, all the way up to, over the course of I think 4 more days, it broke up to about 3.5 cents, 3 cents, 5, 6, or something like that, right? Before finally correcting and coming back down towards a penny. So what's going on with Zebec right now is very, very similar. Very, very similar. Just 2 weeks ago, guys. 2 weeks ago, there was the rumor about, or the FUD about Was it BitHub? BitHub delisting it, right? Now BitHub is a smaller exchange in South Korea, right? And the overreaction to this news was off the scale, off the charts. It was next level fear and overreaction. People were panic selling, they were jumping ship. We saw Zebec dump probably 30% over the course of like 3 days or something like that. So people started asking me on the Patreon, well, what do you think, Rob? Like, what's going to happen with Zebec? Is this it? Is it dead now? I said, and it was funny because we laughed about it. I said, here's my thoughts on the FUD and the fear going on around Zebec right now. Bam, hits big buy order for Zebec for me. Right, goes out, and I was just like, because I put my buy alerts in there, right? So I hit a big buy alert, and we bought like a lot of people bought the bottom over there in our community, and now it's pumped back up over 100%, right? We're sitting at resistance again at 20141, and it's going to continue its leg up. So it had all that fear and all that negativity, same as people, if you remember, um, the fear. What was the fear around Onyx Coin before that? Sorry about the plane in the background, guys, but there was some fear about Onyx Coin before that too. I can't remember what it was. I think people were saying, well, how can they have, there was FUD going on around it because people were saying, well, how can they afford, 40%, 42% APR? It sounds like a scam. It sounds like a scam, right? And people got scared and stuff. And I was getting questioned all the time, like, is this too good to be true? Blah blah blah. And I had explained at the time, and I debunked all that FUD, and it ended up going up. Well, right now we're seeing the same thing with Zebec. Um, it had that fear 2 weeks ago. It had all that FUD. People were saying it was dead. Dude, people were like commenting on my stuff over on X and stuff like that. Like, dude, why are you shilling a rug pull and stuff like that? It's like, it's unbelievable. So all the people that were calling it a rug pull 2 weeks ago, you notice how they're all quiet now? You don't see them anymore, right? So keep that in mind the next time you see someone fighting one of your projects and they're like, it's a rug pull, it's a rug pull. Just know that in 2-3 weeks when that project pumps, they'll be whisper quiet, they'll be gone. They won't say anything, right? They're not adult enough or mature enough to come on and say, you know what, I was wrong. It wasn't a rug pull. I was wrong. Sorry, man. They're not mature enough as an investor. Well, really, they're not mature enough as an investor because they came on and said that in the first place. But to come on, it takes real courage. It takes a real, um, real conviction and principles to be able to come back on when you say something like that and say, "Hey, I was wrong." Right? Most people can't do that though. Right? They're more concerned about being right. They'll say things, and when they're wrong, they disappear, and then they'll come back and they'll say it again about something else. Right? So we had that with Zebec. Yeah, it was terrible, but I just laughed. It's like, okay, bro, tell me you didn't do any research without telling me you didn't do any research, right? So we bought. It's up, right? And it's just its first initial little leg up. I believe that uh, the price target for me for Zebec, where I believe it's going to go, I think it's going to move in rather short order when it has its first initial break. It's going to move its way up close to a penny and a half, same way Zebec or XCN did, and then it's going to consolidate around that range because some people are going to take profits that were buying with us at 2011 and stuff. People are going to take profits, so you're going to see a little bit of consolidation, week and a half, just like XCN, and then you're going to see it have its next leg up, 3.5, 4 cents, maybe even 5 cents, right? But probably more in line with XCN, 3.5, 4 cents, maybe touch 4 cents, right? And then come back down and consolidate again, right? My price target for it in the peak, it's getting a little chilly. In the peak, I would say it would be safe to be targeting 8 to 10 cents for Zebec. That's where I would be targeting. Around that time, you're going to see a lot of people screaming for 25 cents, 50 cents, a dollar even. You'll see some people saying that, right? You have to understand that a lot of content creators will start to pick it up after it has its initial run to a penny. It's going to have about a 400 or 500% run to the upside. And then you'll start to see a lot of the bigger content creators, they'll start to jump in because that's what they do. They jump in when it's going viral, when it's trending, when it's because it's pumped, everybody notices it. So then the bigger content creators, they jump on it and they say, "Hey, I'm the first one to tell you about this," right? And it'll happen with Zebec. It happened with Onyx Coin. Literally, there were two people, um, for the most part, talking about Onyx Coin before it pumped. Myself and Caesar Gets Crypto. That's it. No one else was making videos. I know because I was constantly scouring YouTube for content covering XCN, right? There was nothing. It was me and it was Caesar. That was it, right? Um, and then all of a sudden, it pumped up 500%, and you saw some of the biggest channels out there. All of a sudden, they were the first ones to get in XCN, and they were telling their communities about it, right, months ago, right? And it's just, and I don't care really. I don't care about being first when it comes to that stuff. I care about being first. I don't care. Sorry, I don't care about people knowing that we were first. I care about being first because when it runs and then these big content creators are talking about it, guess what? Their communities start buying it because they think they're buying early. Meanwhile, they're being exit liquidity for those of us who actually got in early and who actually have been in it for over a year, right? So that's the perks to getting in early, guys. That's why you want to be able to be a part of a community that actually does get in early, not just says they got in early because they were talking about it after it pumped 500%, right? So, and the same thing will happen with Zebec. It'll pump up over a penny, penny and a half, and then all of a sudden, everyone's going to be talking about it. Everyone's going to be buying it, right? And we will be reaping the rewards because we were buying into it. We've been buying into Zebec over on the Patreon for about 6 or 7 months. We got in super, super low, super, super low. And then we did a swing trade on it at the top when it peaked a couple months ago. We sold out and then it collapsed because we saw the collapse literally the same day. And then we bought back in. So we got even more, right? That's what we do. That's what we do, guys. So you should definitely come on over to our community, guys. Join the Patreon. Get in early on these projects before they pump massive percentages. Um, and yeah, I mean, you get great swing trade opportunities as well, like we did on Zebec and so many others. And yeah, it's just, all these other channels are charging you between $100 and $1,000. We charge you the price of a Happy Meal, guys. Come on aboard. To pay that price, the price of a Happy Meal, to come aboard and to make, you can ask anybody who's on the Patreon. You can jump over there and ask in the chat. People will tell you how much money they've been making over there, right? So imagine not wanting to pay the price of a Happy Meal to make tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. We've helped 30 people just this year, since the beginning of this year, hit 7-figure portfolios. That's what we do, right? So come aboard, guys. The link's down below for that. So yeah, my price target anyway for Zebec, 8 to 10 cents. And that's the bullish target, right? For me. If you want to know what my exit price point is, that's another thing you get over on the Patreon. My sell orders, my buy orders, my price targets, my exit strategies, where I'm selling, all that stuff, right? So, yeah. But let me know what you guys think of my price target for Zebec, guys. 8 to 10 cents. Do you think it's too high? Do you think it's too low? Do you think it's going higher? Do you think it's going lower? Let me know, guys, in the comment section. Quick shout out to the channel sponsor, Decent self-custody wallet, guys. Do your swaps right on your wallet. You can get the biometric wallet, or you can just get the card wallet. I personally have multiple copies of both. And yeah, not your keys, not your coins. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. I'll see you guys in the next one. God bless.